Hello, future students. This is going to be a quick guide for what to annotate for Oedipus, and actually what to annotate for all of the books that we read in the upcoming year. So just some quick tips and tricks for that. Annotation can be a really helpful tool for you. So I'm hoping to have you guys see that and to be practicing that throughout the school year. So first off, I get a question a lot of the times when it comes to annotation is like, what am I supposed to write in my book? What am I supposed to be looking for? What do I mark? What do I note? What do I annotate? Right? So first, you really want to have it be a conversation with the text. This helps you really engage with it and really push your thinking when you're talking to the book and having that conversation back and forth. So what are your feelings? What are your reactions? What are your ideas? What are your connections? All of those kind of things. If I'm talking with my book, I'm engaged in it. I'm learning from it. I'm talking back to it. So as you can see here, I was really angry with this idea about never being rated inferior to a woman, never. So that made me really, really mad. So I used some exclamation marks. I have some angry faces. All of those kind of things are great ways to interact and have a conversation with the text. Next, you also want to be looking for those important places, lines, or quotes that you are going to come back to later on so that you have them already marked for you. You're not having to read through the whole book or the whole text again to find quotes when you're writing about it, say on an essay. Another way to think about this is in May for your final, you're going to be using all of the books that you've read. And so what are the quotes that you want to have ready to go so you're not sitting there trying to reread every book we've read all year, including Oedipus that you read almost a year previous. So annotation should be really a way for the future version of you to come back and remember really quickly, really easily, those important pieces, those important quotes that you can use as evidence to support your thinking and claims in a piece of writing. So a couple quick tips. Have your pen in hand when you sit down to read. If you're already comfortable and you're sitting and you don't have a pen to annotate, it's less likely that you're going to get up to get that pen in order to make those notes into the margins. So next, write in the margins, especially if you're highlighting or if you're underlining something, put in the notes in the margins as to why. As you can see in this example, I have several lines underlined. And if I didn't write in the notes really quickly, just a brief note next to those lines, I would have to go back and reread all of that underlining in order to understand and then try and remember why I underlined it. So here I can just put quick notes on the sides in order to help me remember, so that all I'm doing is reading those annotations in the margins rather than having to read everything I've underlined or highlighted. Another quick note about highlighting. Some people have this whole color coding system. They've made elaborate coding systems to make their annotations fancier. I caution you against that. All of those things take extra time. You have to make sure that you have all the right highlighters with you when you go to sit down and do this. Your time is precious. You have lots to do, and we're already asking for a lot, so don't take any more time on this than you need to. Make this efficient for you. And then lastly, you want to seek the baby bear annotations. What's too much? What's not enough? And that's something that you're just going to work with. And as you practice and as you play with that, you'll get better with it. But if you have paragraphs written in the margins on every single page, that's too much, right? It's going to take you longer to read that than it would to just reread the page. If you're just not doing enough, you're going to miss those pieces. And I know that's really tough to be like, what's the amount? Because it's not just, 5 on every page. It doesn't work that way. So you have to start playing around with what works for you. What is that just right amount of annotations so that you can go back and pull quotes, that you can remember that you're engaged with the text, that you're pushing your thinking, all those things that we're wanting to see.